This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, a community access media station. Thank you to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.
I'm a dreamer of 3D pictures.
Good afternoon, Radio Hawke's Bay listeners. It is Nikki Palamountain here from Dyslexia Unpuzzled in Hawke's Bay. Welcome to my monthly podcast, coming to you from frequency 104.7 FM or 1431 AM. Each month we explore the mysteries and upsides of dyslexia and other learning differences while offering practical solutions to help parents, educators and anyone navigating this journey. Today I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by my dear friend and amazing specialist acupuncturist, Alex Rowbury. Alex is the founder of Alex Acupuncture, a pioneering practitioner in the field of neuropuncture, and she's just a few steps away from completing her doctorate. But what makes our conversation today especially exciting is that Alex brings a unique perspective as someone who sees her dyslexia not as a limitation, but as a genuine superpower in her work and life. Welcome, Alex. Lovely to have you here today.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here, Nikki, and that's an incredible introduction too. It makes me feel quite emotional. Thank you.
I know how hard that you've worked, Alex, to get to where you are, so I'm looking forward to sharing your journey today, so really good to have you with us. So before we dive into your fascinating work with neuropuncture, I'd love to start at the beginning. When did you first realise that you were dyslexic, and what was that experience like for you growing up?
Yes, that's a very profound sort of start. It was very hard when I was growing up. There wasn't any awareness of what we had, and unfortunately in the classroom and at home and with my friends and peers, we were ridiculed and told that we were unintelligent, and that really did have an impact on myself. My brother is dyslexic too, and we had a lot of trouble, and I grew up at school, wasn't really recognised for me until I was about 12, 13, and we were literally told we were dumb.
Oh, that must have been pretty hard to hear.
Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, and it obviously still impacts you today.
It does, but what we were so incredibly lucky to have, we had a new teacher come in by the name of Peter Choate. So I don't know if Peter was in this region for a little while, and he recognised that for me.
Oh, did he really?
I had an amazing teacher like yourself.
Oh, cool.
Who were always very observant of students, and I wasn't able. And back in the day when I was this age group, we used to have to stand up and read aloud. I don't know if classes do that so much anymore.
No.
But I couldn't do it. I couldn't read aloud, but I was completing my work, so he could see I had the comprehension, which is what we were going to go into today. And so he would say, "What's happening?" And I said, I understand, I know what the words say, but I can't say them out loud when I stand up. So he recognised that for me when I was about 12.
Oh, that's amazing.
11, 12, and then he sorted that out for me, and I got the confidence then, and he gave me tutorage, different to yours, but similar. And so I was able to overcome that, and it wasn't my comprehension or understanding the subjects, which is, again, what we're going to go into today, but it was just that I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't see the words on the paper when I was reading aloud.
Gosh, it must have been pretty tough, all right. So, and not something that you can easily explain to people. You know, they just sort of, because they're not seeing what you're seeing or what you're not seeing in this case. So, I
didn't know.
No, well, of course, you were unaware. So, unaware that yours was different to others. So, yeah. So I find that many people's relationship with their dyslexia evolves over time. So has your understanding of dyslexia changed as you've grown in your personal life and professional career?
Oh, incredibly so. And this is a favourite subject of mine to talk about, because I'm completing my doctorate now, and all the doctors I'm working with currently all have dyslexia.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's grown so much. I had that amazing teacher show me the way, and there were stumbling blocks in between. But what we've recognised is that you do learn like to talk about it and to be more confident with who you are and to know that it's to trust you and you know the information. And the other doctors, we all share stories about how we do have our little mistakes and we misread things, and what happens is that it becomes the norm, not something that's abnormal.
Right. And you don't get embarrassed about that, or?
No, like one of the sayings I've got, I don't know if I've told you or not, is that dyslexia isn't life-threatening for us, but it can muck up your day, and and we have to learn to just let it go when that happens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So and do you do anything like need to have a reset just throughout the day and just sort of stop and take a break and walk away and?
That's another thing I was talking about saying. That's one of the things that's really brings you back in when you do have a dyslexic moment and you do misread or you can't comprehend something in that moment, is literally just slow down, is to take yourself away and just slow down and sit there, and then you know that your brain's going to be able to follow what you're being instructed to do, and you just have to just breathe and say, I know this.
Yeah, well, you do, and I think
this.
and I think it's important that you have that confidence in yourself, and also trust that your brain is just getting confused because it's a little bit overloaded, and it just needs time out to process and just stop. Reset, have a drink of water, go for a run, whatever it takes, and come back and start again. Is that?
It's true, and it's so important, Nikki, what you're saying is to be able to do that and to know that and to actually laugh about it and embrace dyslexia. When I do it in front of my patients now, or in front of the doctors, I recently went up to Miami and did the sort of version that's the same as my master's in New Zealand, and we just laughed. We laughed at the dyslexic things we were doing, and they were wrong.
Yep.
But it's not anything anymore that needs to be kept in the closet. It doesn't need to be anything. You don't need to be embarrassed that you've misread something or you haven't understood something.
Right.
And that's taken me a long time. I wanted to share that today.
Yeah.
And because it's not anything we need to hide or be worried about.
No, because I mean, it used to be sort of really, well, I mean, possibly you do still have embarrassing moments, but it used to be something that people were so ashamed about having, and but really there is no shame. It's part of who you are. No. So, yeah.
I made a mistake this morning. Actually, I was supposed to catch up with the head of neuropuncture this morning, and I had thought I'd booked the session on the first, on the first, but it was for the second, and I put it in the diary on the wrong day because I just transposed those figures, and I got it wrong. And I owned that. I emailed him back and I said, I'm sorry, I've got this wrong. I'm under a bit of pressure at the moment. The dyslexia can be a little bit problematic when you're under pressure. Yeah. And that's something to recognise about it too.
Right.
And he just went, I get it.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool, isn't it, that you've got that support. And, it definitely does worsen when you're under pressure for sure. So, I love hearing about that journey that you've been on, and what I find particularly fascinating about your story, and you've told me this before, but I just think it's amazing how your dyslexic thinking actually supports your work in acupuncture and especially in neuropuncture. Can you tell us a bit about that connection?
Absolutely. So the way that our brains are wired differently from other people is that we don't look at a linear sentence in the same way, or mine and other people's too. And so what we've been able to do, or I've been able to do within the neuropuncture, is to be able to memorise and look at a subject and look at the whole picture. Because we are used to having to memorise, and so we can hone or develop our skills in terms of being able to connect the dots and bring everything together as you're unpuzzled, but it's bringing the puzzle together, right? And what I find is it's helped me do my work better because I think in almost like it's almost like a machine, the way that our brain, our dyslexia, and it's about problem solving. That's what I was going to say. We are able to problem solve with dyslexia. We don't look at things in a linear way. We look at things all different ways of solving one problem. And with neuropuncture and neuroscience, that's how we we work. You have to look at different. You can't. There's not just one way to fix something. And so with what I do with my work, dyslexia has completely been the reason I think I'm so good at it. Is because
wonderful.
I've learned how to problem solve.
Excellent.
And that's what our brains do when we're dyslexic.
and that goes back to that whole three-dimensional thinking.
That's exactly it.
Right.
We don't necessarily understand a linear sentence sometimes, but we'll look at the whole 3D, sometimes 5D aspect of it all.
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it?
And that's what neuroscience is. It's not just one pinpoint answer.
Right.
And that's why, and sometimes in exams when you're wanting that, when the question's asked and you have to have that one pinpoint answer, we're not sometimes going to get that right.
Right.
But the problem solving around that we can do.
That's incredible, isn't it? So, yeah, I've noticed that too with my my clients, and that dyslexic thinkers have this incredible ability to see those connections that others might miss. So that's cool. So I'm curious, can you share a specific example of how thinking differently has helped innovate or find new approaches in your practice?
Oh, look, every day, like, for example, a person, you're talking in like a specific example of a patient they come in and there's been multiple different ways of looking at healing this one problem or resolving this person's issue, and most of them look at the Western medicine, and we all work together. So Western medicine and neuroscience and traditional Chinese medicine all together. So I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. It's just a different way of looking at it. So sort of a new school sort of way of looking, and there's one way that you can look at treating tinnitus, for example, and that is to actually assess the ear internally and what's going on with the problematic, like the cochlea. But we don't look at it like that. We look at it from the different areas of the nerves going in. And because I'm dyslexic, and as you know that, but there was 3 other problems with this patient as well. And it wasn't working. The one way wasn't working. That I was treating it and Western medicine were treating it. And because I'm dyslexic and I've got that 5D approach to things, we're able to pick up that it was an injury from another area of the body. And we got that scanned, and then it showed up, and we corrected that with neuropuncture. And so that person's tinnitus is now
unbelievable, isn't it? That is very cool. And
other doctors are all great. We're all great. We all go in with the right intentions. It's just that sometimes when we're dyslexic, we have a different approach to everything. And so you can problem solve patients' issues.
Oh, that's so cool.
In a much more effective way.
Oh, that's so cool. So that's just a really good example there. So do you mind if we talk about your academic journey? So you nearly finished your doctorate, which is absolutely amazing. And I know it's been a long, hard slog and a big journey for you. So how has being neurodivergent shaped your path through higher education?
I think it makes you strive and try harder, so you have to get up every day earlier to study because you know you're not going to necessarily comprehend the information straight away. So the drive is stronger, and that you're told that you necessarily can't do it or won't do it or not going to achieve this. So it does make you push harder, and I think that's what's made it better for me to be able to achieve and then say that I'm dyslexic and I'm still achieving and I'm going past where the bars were set. And so I think it gives you that stronger drive and determination. And if you find your passion, then you're just going to be able to do it.
Well, I think when you're passionate about anything, you give it your all, and it just because you have that passion, it's not a chore, you know. And
no, it's not. And being neurodivergent only enhances that. Because you've got that unique approach to anything that you're trying to do.
Right.
And I think it makes you, and it's not a competition out there, but it does set you apart from the competition because you are unique in your approach to whatever you choose to do.
Okay, that's amazing, isn't it? That's cool. So I think many of our listeners who are navigating education themselves or supporting neurodivergent students will relate to that. So what have been some of the challenges that you've faced academically, and more importantly, what unexpected strengths has your dyslexia brought to you?
Yeah, I think the unexpected the roadblock sort of that I've had is in exams and sitting exams, and that we know that our brains sometimes don't work so well under that pressure again, and misreading things and then answering that question in an exam situation like wrong. I lost 20 marks.
Oh, did you really?
Yep.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I still didn't fail my exam though, by the way. But
it's so good that you did it.
But you can. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And so that's what you asked the question, didn't you? Ask the question about the problems that have come, unexpected problems.
Yep.
And so to resolve that for any students thinking about going into study or following their career path that they want to go down, it's just ask, always ask. Like that's what I found has helped me. I didn't have the confidence to say, I don't understand that. I don't get that. So that does that answer your question? Is to always ask, no matter what situation you're in, especially in an exam situation.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's important for educators at whatever level to be able to break down that material and be aware that not all of us can absorb great big chunks of information at the time. So breaking it down into smaller steps so we can have the opportunity or the benefit of that deeper understanding.
Exactly, and don't be afraid if you are a student thinking about going into the classroom situation, don't be afraid to ask that question the second and third time. It's like, I don't get it that way, I don't understand that. And yes, like the students that are training with you may not understand like you, or there may be a little bit of discord in the class, but it doesn't matter. Like once you get in there and you actually express yourself, everything's going to be okay, and it's just a matter of, I think the students, this even asking and telling your students too, like, you know, I need that just written in a different way.
I think it's important to recognise that you need things slowed down, and I think it's important that you do have the confidence to ask and just sort of, you know, what do they say? The only question that you is a dumb question is the one that you don't ask. So
yes,
I don't think it matters, like you say, how many times you ask that question.
It really doesn't, and that's what I've had happen to me. And it's like I go, but that's not right. I don't, even sometimes verbally, if I've got a lot going on. A lot of our exams, as you go higher up through, if someone's thinking about doing their PhD, or someone who's thinking about doing their masters, and a lot of the questions now are verbal. They don't want us to write it down. They want you to know whether you've got that knowledge and you've got that recall, and you do as a dyslexic person. You have that recall and you have that knowledge. But sometimes even verbally, like I've gotten to a few, we've had a lot of online training and online tests, and I haven't re-asked the question, even like last year when I was doing it. And it's like, just say, can you please clarify that? And you'll get through.
Oh, that's good. That's actually a really nice way of reframing that, you know, just clarify. That's cool. So valuable advice there. So taking a broader view now, how do you think we can better support neurodivergent professionals, not just in education but in healthcare, business and any other field? Is there something that needs to change?
I think doing what you're doing, Nikki, is getting the word out there. It's just awareness, and I think that helps incredibly. There's a lot out there on the internet that isn't correct. So I think, again, making sure that people check their sources and have everything referenced to make sure that what is being read and what is being said on the internet is true, or what you're reading is true. And just to give people a chance. I know that we are living in 2025, and you want it done, and you want it done now, no matter what workplace you're in. But it's sometimes give people a chance. Slow it down a bit. It's like, does that actually need to be said in that way and done in that way right this second?
Yeah, fair enough.
Take a breath.
Yep. So as we wrap up our chat, which we've got a little bit more time and not a lot, there's one question that I love asking everyone all my guests that join on me on this podcast. What's one piece of wisdom or insight that your dyslexia has gifted you, something that you wouldn't trade for the world?
It's actually given me confidence.
Oh, that's so cool. That is such a neat thing to hear, because so many times oftentimes I hear it's the other way around.
It's given me so much confidence, and I love that I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
I love that I'm different, and that I laughed today for missing that big meeting with my boss.
Yeah.
Not at him or what. It's just the way it is. I love that I can now be open and more open in the environment, but it's given me so much confidence to go ahead and just keep going.
Oh, great. Yeah, your perseverance is certainly incredible, Alex. So, yeah. Alex, I really appreciate so much for you coming in to share your story with us today. It's just been really wonderful hearing how dyslexia hasn't been something that just been something that you've overcome, but something that genuinely helps you to lead differently and bring unique value to your patients and in your research.
Absolutely, it does. Every day.
Every day. That's amazing. So, for anyone listening that may want to know more about what you do, Alex, and how you work and how to get hold of you, can you just share how people can do that, please?
Sure. So, do you want me to talk about just a little sentence about what
yes,
I do? Okay.
I think that'd be lovely.
So neuropuncture is the only complete neuroscience acupuncture system that teaches me, the practitioner, how to neuromodulate you as a patient, your nervous system back to health using electrical stimulation. I have just relocated back to the Bay, and I work 2 days out of New Beginnings Chiropractic Clinic in Taradale, and I'm just setting up a home clinic more based in Napier. And so you can go onto my website, which is alexacupuncture.com, and you can book online, or you can email me and we can set up a time to talk. So,
oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So
we treat anything from tinnitus to injuries to Parkinson's. So I'd love to help people get their daily lives and life back on track.
Absolutely, because I know from experience being treated by you, Alex, it's a pretty powerful way of healing. So, yep, and I think for anybody out there that is suffering injury, go and see Alex, because, boy, she's pretty effective. So,
thank you.
For any resources on dyslexia or and neurodiversity support, please don't hesitate to visit my website at dyslexiaunpuzzled.co.nz, or check out our social pages. You've got Alex Acupuncture, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
That's on Facebook.
Oh, that's cool. And I'm under Dyslexia Unpuzzled on Facebook, Instagram, and there's a little bit on LinkedIn. I just want you to remember, listeners, that the way your brain works isn't actually a limitation. Your brain's a powerful asset, and the way your brain functions is a powerful asset, and I think we're often so hard and critical, or so hard on ourselves and very critical sometimes of the way that we think, and perhaps stopping for a time and appreciating our strengths and talents that we actually do have is, very underrated perhaps. So, listeners, thanks so much for listening to us this afternoon. I'd love to catch you next month for some more conversations about navigating life in our wonderfully neurodiverse world. This was my conversation this afternoon with Alex Rowbury from Alex Acupuncture, who's our specialist acupuncturist and neuropuncture expert here in Hawke's Bay. She's embraced her dyslexia as a professional superpower. If you enjoyed this episode and found value in hearing how neurodivergent thinking can create pathways to success, please share it, or let someone else know, or someone who might need this perspective. So just like to say, this is Nikki Palamountain here from Dyslexia Unpuzzled Hawke's Bay. Also, just don't forget that we play on Tuesdays. If you want to listen to this replay on 104.7 FM and 14:31 AM, the replays are on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock. I love you if you could listen to us and share, and we'll see you again next month.
Pictures. I'm a traveler of a different kind.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, your community access media station. Thanks to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.